Carnival and NCL have canceled through May, but is there still hope for Alaska cruises in 2021? Those stories and more next on the Cruise News Week in Review. Welcome to the Cruise World. I'm Mark. Thanks for tuning in to this latest installment of the Cruise News Week in Review. As the title says, we bring the latest cruise news each and every week. So if you enjoy the video or learned something you didn't know, I just ask that you hit that like button. Thanks in advance. Though it wasn't unexpected, the big news this week came from Carnival Cruise Line as they canceled all sailings from North America through May 31st, 2021. Carnival Ambassador John Heald broke the news on his Facebook page.
I'm so very, very sorry that because the return of guest operations from US ports has yet to be determined, we have had to cancel the May cruises. That's all cruises through May of 2021, leaving from all of our home ports in the North America have been cancelled. I'm going to look you right in the eye and say, we will be back.
As has become commonplace with their past cancellations, Carnival is offering affected passengers the choice of a future cruise credit plus onboard credit package or a full refund. Carnival President Christine Duffy added, "We continue to work on plans to resume operations and are encouraged by the focus to expedite vaccine production and distribution, which are having a demonstrated impact on improving public health. We appreciate the support of all of our guests, employees, and trade partners who we know are looking forward to our return." And Disney Cruise Line also extended their pause in operations, canceling cruises on the Dream and Fantasy through the end of May, and on the Magic, which was set to spend her summer in Europe, through August. May sailings to Alaska on the Disney Wonder were also previously canceled. But MSC hasn't canceled sailings in May yet, and neither has Royal Caribbean. And President and CEO of Royal Caribbean International, Michael Bailey, said that they are looking at increasing the passenger capacity on the Quantum of the Seas in the coming weeks. The Quantum, which has been sailing short cruises from Singapore since December, has been operating at 50% capacity, but could be raised to 65%. Bailey said technology such as e-mustering and contact tracing have helped the restart in Singapore, and said that operation could be used as a base for restarting in the U.S. Bailey also added that the CDC has asked Royal Caribbean for information and data on the company's sailings from Singapore. And with U.S. sailings in limbo, RCL is also bringing a home port to Barbados. Starting in November, the Grandeur of the Seas will be sailing 7 and 14-night cruises from Barbados. And with built-up demand for vacations and cruises, Bailey said Royal Caribbean has sold 25% of their load factor in just a couple of weeks. After engaging with various U.S. and Canadian government officials in an attempt to save some of their 2021 Alaska, Canada, and New England cruise season, Princess has now made it official and canceled the majority of its Alaska cruises. Those cruises include Alaska's 7-day voyage of the Glacier cruises, sailing between Vancouver and Anchorage, Pacific coastals that start or end in Vancouver, and their Canadian adventure sailing round trip from Southampton, United Kingdom. Jan Schwartz, president of Princess Cruises, said, "We share in our guests' disappointment over these canceled voyages, especially as we have been preparing our ships for our return to service. Princess Cruises has sailed to Alaska for more than 50 years, and the incredible last frontier is part of our proud heritage. We understand how much of Alaska is dependent on the cruise economy. We are going to do all we can to help our business partners in the communities of Alaska." Passengers booked for these cruises have several different options based on whether their booking was paid in full or not. They can contact Princess or their travel advisor for more information. Holland America Line has also canceled all sailings that begin or end in a Canadian port, and that includes several Alaska cruises, 3 Canada-New England, and 2 Pacific coastal cruises. But they decided not to cancel the Alaskan voyages from Seattle just yet, citing the ongoing discussions with Canadian and U.S. government authorities. And NCL is also holding out hope for an Alaskan season in 2021. Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings president and CEO Frank Del Rio said, "We have suspended taking new bookings on Alaska. I think the whole industry has. But we do hold out some hope that these initiatives led by the Alaskan delegation can open up Alaska for 2021. Now, I know it's a long road ahead, but Alaska Congressman Don Young has introduced a bill to amend the 135-year-old shipping law to rescue the 2021 Alaska cruise season. The move to temporarily amend the Passenger Vessel Services Act of 1886 would allow large cruise ships from Seattle to sail to Alaska without having to stop at a Canadian port. For the purposes of U.S. law, the Alaska Tourism Recovery Act would consider trips between Alaska and Washington state as foreign voyages. Hopefully, they can fast track that and get it signed into law before cruising resumes here in the U.S. And Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings CEO Frank Del Rio has also stated that once the CDC gives the green light for sailings from the U.S., he's looking at roughly a 90-day window to launch cruise service. Now, this makes perfect sense as they are currently canceled through the end of May, so it should be expected then, if the CDC does not give the go-ahead soon, that June sailings will also be in jeopardy. Del Rio said that the company would be able to reintroduce one ship a week, so they would need to start up in June or July to be 100% operational by the start of 2022. That sounds familiar. Carnival Corporation President Arnold Donald also recently remarked that he expects his entire Carnival fleet to be operational by the start of 2022 as well. I'll be the first to admit that I'm not an expert in the stock market, but even after big gains for the cruise stocks a week ago, I told you that I expected more and I was holding on. Despite several cancellations, gain is exactly what they did. It all started on Monday when Royal Caribbean announced a bullish outlook, and it carried through the week. Carnival Corporation and PLC jumped $2.20 for a near 9% increase from last week's close. Royal Caribbean took off like a rocket, soaring to $93.27 a share, an increase of 18.39%. And Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings finished the week at $26.87, up 10%. That wraps up the cruise news this week, and I have a question for you. If you could book a cruise on any ship right now, regardless of the itinerary, what ship would you choose and why? I'm going to put my answer down in the comments, and I'm asking you to do the same. Oh, and while you're on your way down there, hit that like button if you haven't already. Stay safe, everyone. We'll see you next week.